We begin with the deadly conflict between Israel and Iran, which has entered its fourth day and continues to escalate at an alarming pace. Overnight, both countries launched new waves of missile attacks, ignoring growing international calls for restraint. Iran struck key Israeli infrastructure early on Monday, including a major oil refinery and parts of its power grid, as explosions lit up the skies over Tel Aviv, Haifa, and other densely populated cities. At least 5 people were killed and more than 100 injured in the latest round of Iranian missile strikes, according to Israel's emergency service. Several residential buildings were destroyed in central and coastal cities, and fires broke out at a power plant near Haifa. In fact, one of the strikes occurred just hundreds of meters from the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv, which sustained minor damage. However, no injuries were in fact reported there.
Behind me, this is the result of the latest barrage of rockets fired at our residential communities by Iran. It's continuing the pattern as we're seeing. Each and every one of these scenes are targeting residential communities, civilians in their homes.
Meanwhile, Israeli residents described chaotic scenes. People took shelter in designated zones as sirens blared. The fear, they said, wasn't just from the explosion, it was from the uncertainty of what could come next.
After we received the alerts at night, we entered to the safe room. We waited. There was a siren. Within a minute and a half after the siren, we felt supersonic booms. Up there, very strong booms. Half a minute later, we felt the explosion inside the apartment. After that, when we opened the safe room's door, we were shocked. The entire apartment was completely dismantled. Nothing was left.
Iran, too, is absorbing heavy losses, and the country's health ministry reported over 200 deaths and over 1,200 injuries, with the vast majority to civilians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed Tehran is burning, and in an address, Prime Minister Netanyahu also said that the U.S. was helping a great deal, praising President Donald Trump's decisive leadership.
Our wonderful pilots are above Tehran. Tehran is burning. But we are aiming not at civilians, even though we told them to evaluate, and they are evaluating massive evacuation. It's happening now. You don't hear of it because the Iranians are hiding it. But this is what is happening. I talk to President Donald Trump every few days. Minister Ron Dermer is assisting. He is talking to senior U.S. administration officials. I really appreciate President Trump's decisive leadership on this issue.
Israel's Air Force also struck multiple command centers belonging to Iran's elite Quds Force in Tehran. And these centers, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, were actively coordinating attacks on Israel using Iran's network of proxies in the region. Video released by the IDF showed 10 key sites hit in the capital. And Israel also confirmed that these operations are part of a broader campaign that will continue for weeks, not days, with support from Washington.
No one will bring us down on our knees. We will hurt the snake's head, and we'll peel off the snake's skin, and we'll target the nuclear facilities, we'll target the aerial defense systems, we'll target the missiles, we'll target the regime. We will do everything to protect our citizens, and we will attack those who attack us. We'll bring them down on their knees and make sure they do not dare to continue doing these things.
Meanwhile, attempts at diplomacy have collapsed. Nuclear talks between the United States and Iran were suspended after Tehran refused to negotiate under bombardment.
Israel knows no boundaries. They intrude wherever they want with permission from America, meaning this is also carried out with America's permission. We are by no means seeking to expand the war, but naturally, as our army, our powerful IRGC, and our dear people have shown, appropriate responses have been given so far. The more they try to escalate, naturally, the responses will become tougher and more severe. More innocent people may lose their lives.
And world leaders at the G7 in Canada are now urgently discussing the crisis. Even oil markets reacted with a slight rise, and global financial systems remain largely stable for now. With missiles still flying, diplomacy sidelined, and regional tensions boiling over, the conflict shows no signs of cooling, and the worst may still be ahead.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube: English, French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
$4 trilhão.
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.